what she said at the end there is kind of appropriate, Murray. It's like, you're trying to say something, or there's something here. I don't know what it is, but it's like, isn't that the Steph Diggs experience?
Yes, the mercurial Steph Diggs. Like, we don't know really what he's changing his mind on the fly here, because it's exactly that. What are you trying to tell us here? Because it does feel like there is something there.
The coaches aren't too excited. I'm not too excited. I've heard you try to push it too hard. I've heard that too. Like, so this I get from, it's not the official email of the day, early precursor, but some emailer named Kevin, who's maybe he's a Vikings fan or has followed Diggs his whole career. He says, I've been listening to the job. I've been listening on the job, I guess, today, and everyone trying to interpret the latest Diggs comments and reports, and it's deja vu. The diva, the bad guy, etc. label on Diggs is not one that comes from singular, straightforward blowouts. 3 teams have moved on from Diggs, and none of them were the result of some single polarizing lash-out event that is usually the case with these diva receivers. What we are seeing today, a media story fueled by the back-and-forth speculation on a Steph Diggs vague comment, is the historic core of the Steph Diggs diva label that has gotten him moved from 3 teams. There will be no singular crash out. It's already started, and you will see there will be a new quote-unquote controversy every few weeks that will come from a vague Diggs comment or tweet. It's never direct. He's a master of and addicted to creating a media frenzy by being vague through comments. He'll tweet or say some cryptic thing with zero context for the sole purpose of creating a story from the media and fans trying to interpret the meaning, which usually is interpreted as something negative, that he will then play the victim and gaslight it as people reading too much into things. His cryptic tweets caused controversy every year in Buffalo, only for him to publicly say he loves the Bills and never wants to leave whenever asked to explain. Maybe this guy's a Bills fan. It eventually got him shipped out of town. All you have to do is Google history of Steph Diggs cryptic tweets, and you'll get 50 articles about them. So that is kind of true. You can help me if I'm wrong. Was there ever a blow-up, singular incident there in Buffalo?
There was one little sideline thing between him and Josh Allen at one point, but it wasn't like, punches were thrown. I think they were jarring at each other, as I recall, at one point, but nothing more than that. No, it just sounds like he's a giant pain in the ass. And if you apply this to, when you're dating, at points, you're like, okay, she's hot, and I'm willing to put up with an X amount of crap. But then you reach a point where it's like, this ain't worth it. So if Steph Diggs has lost a step and he's no longer worth it, then it might not be worth it for the Patriots, and they might move on like these other 3 teams have. The one that stands out to me the most was this most recent stop in Houston, where they spent all this money. The Texans are a team that's on the come, has a looks like they've hit on the quarterback. They made him a captain last year, and sure, he got injured, but they had seemingly zero interest in bringing him back. So just in that short amount of time, they were like, you're too much of a pain in the ass. It ain't worth it. Go be someone else's problem. And now he's the Patriots' issue.
Definitely. I mean, the guys that move teams like that, with that talent, 3 teams in 3 years, there's a reason. So I fully believe.
When you produce, though, and you were Steph Diggs at the height of his prowess on the field, like, you're more than willing to deal with that kind of pain in the ass behavior. But now teams are right to say, like, enough, we don't need this. And that's what, to me, it felt like the Texans did last year.
Sure, and Phil's reporting that Diggs has not looked like a number 1 or not really showing out on the field is scary. I think in conjunction with that, but I think the Patriots knew it. The Patriots knew it, and they signed the player with clenched teeth. This is nothing that they would do if they were on firmer ground, but they only have themselves to blame. They couldn't close the deal on any of those other receivers. They cannot draft at the position to save their lives. So they were backed into the corner on doing a guy who was really the last real guy standing with all those problems. And something tells me the Patriots are already experiencing some of them, if not a lot of them. But what are they going to do? This is where they're at. And that's a bad story. After 3 years of just fumbling around at the position, to be in that spot is, I just think, inexcusable. And it just speaks, it's to the organization. I'm yelling at some of the people that came before the current group. I'm just at the team. It's just that can't keep going on year after year after year. And it's sort of my lead take today after hearing the reports on the offensive line and the receiver group. It's like they're still stuck. They're still stuck at those spots. I don't see much progress there. Doesn't feel like it anyway. During the spring, when Diggs was missing and effing around on the boat and all that, Vrabel was asked directly about Diggs's investment level and effort, and Mike wouldn't really address it, right? Don't you remember? He skirted the question. He couldn't even bring himself to say he's been working hard. Here he's saying he cares and he works hard. So that tells me it's, they're okay-ish, and maybe it's true that Diggs does care and is working hard. But Vrabel's clearly annoyed by the question, and not just Phil. It's a pretty straightforward thing. Diggs says in an interview, not sure if I'll be ready. And then Perry asked Mike Vrabel, Diggs said he wasn't sure about his readiness. Your thoughts? And he says, do you believe that? Meaning Vrabel thinks that Diggs would just be lying about that? Or Diggs is just playing coy to play coy, and Phil and we're all supposed to figure that out. Like, that's what Vrabel's saying there, right?
Yeah, feels like that to me.
So that, to me, I guess, but then why is Mike so annoyed by that? Why is he so agitated?
Probably because he's dealing with something with this particular player that's got him irked. So, reading...
why don't they all just play along? But, Mike did. Steph Diggs said that he wasn't sure about his readiness for week 1, to which Vrabel says, yeah, we're all in the same boat. I got to be ready. And, if he's ready, he'll play. If he's not, he won't. And we're all hoping that he'll be ready. Same with all of our injured players or all of our recovering players. Like, why don't you just play along? Why did Vrabel feel the need to kind of lash out there? And the reason I think you're right, Murray, is because he's projecting. He's got something going on with the guy, and he's just bugged by the whole situation.
Yeah, and I think there's a tell from, I don't know if you read Karen Grisian Mass Live today about this very thing, how Steph Diggs has gone from being Patriots' best receiver to an afterthought, ? She writes, there's little disputing the fact the star receiver, who's the team's best wideout early in camp, last week, Diggs mysteriously showed up late to the joint practices against Washington, was held out of the game against the Commanders. Vrabel called it a coach's decision. What does that mean? Is the knee acting up because the 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver pushed too hard to come back? Vrabel wants everyone to believe there's nothing to see here, but he added fuel to the fire with his coach's decision remark. And he's disappeared from the offense in recent days. And she's right to point that out. The coach's decision remark means that, Vrabel is pissed about something that he did, and he held him out of that last week, and now there's this thing going on maybe between these two parties and the head coach and the wide receiver.
Is Diggs taking his foot off the gas?
In terms of how he's practicing?
Yeah, it feels like Matt, it feels that way.
Feels that way. Yes, exactly. And this is the Steph Diggs experience. So that's my sense with it. That being said, he's still the best receiver they've had here in 5-6 years. To your point, Mike, that's the issue. You have to rely on somebody like this. It's not somebody you want to rely on, but he's still better than anything else they have, which is not a good thing.